Thank you for visiting the Waterkotte website and our Public Intoxication Defense Lawyer in Missouri website page. Regardless of the crime, we believe everyone is entitled to the best possible legal defense in the state of Missouri. We have created this audio version of our website page to help you better understand our services and protect your future, freedom, and reputation. If you have been charged with public intoxication in the state of Missouri, we can help. Don't face the state and court system alone during your public intoxication charge. Contact one of our Missouri Public Intoxication Defense Lawyers today at 314-900-HELP to protect your rights and future. Waterkotte is committed to handling all public intoxication cases with confidential care and understanding. We are not here to judge you. We believe that everyone in Missouri, regardless of the crime they have been charged with, deserves an aggressive legal defense and to have their legal rights protected. With that being said, let's discuss hiring our public intoxication defense lawyers in Missouri and setting up a free consultation with our attorneys. Public intoxication defense lawyers in Missouri. Missouri takes a fairly relaxed stance on public alcohol consumption. Even so, you can be arrested for drinking in prohibited locations or performing certain prohibited acts while drunk. Waterkotte is a leading criminal defense law firm in Missouri. Our attorneys can customize a legal defense for your circumstances to push for a fair outcome, including possible dismissal, acquittal, or diversion. Does Missouri have a public intoxication law? Missouri doesn't have a statewide public intoxication law. In fact, the state prohibits city and county governments from enacting public intoxication ordinances or interpreting state or local laws to punish people for public intoxication. The state also has no open container law. Other states punish people for having open containers of alcohol in many locations, such as in vehicles or on sidewalks. This explains why you can't drive with an open bottle of beer in Kansas City, Kansas, but you can in Kansas City, Missouri. Your future is on the line. Call Waterkotte's Missouri Public Intoxication Lawyers at 314-900-HELP for an immediate consultation. Missouri statutes covering public intoxication. Missouri still forbids drinking and drunkenness in certain places or under specific conditions, even without public intoxication and open container laws. The state's prohibition against public intoxication laws permits state and local governments to pass laws in 3 areas: prohibiting intoxication while using a vehicle, aircraft, boat, machinery, or firearm; regulating the sale, purchase, dispensation, possession, or use of alcohol; punishing individuals who commit other crimes while intoxicated. In short, the state bans blanket laws that make it illegal to simply be drunk or carry an open container of alcohol. Instead, its laws punish people for what happens as a result of that drunkenness or open container. The provisions in the Missouri Revised Statutes that cover certain types of public intoxication include the following: drunkenness or drinking in prohibited places. Missouri outlaws drunkenness or drinking in certain places, including courthouses and occupied schools and churches. The law prohibits the following actions while in these locations: drinking alcohol, being in an intoxicated and disorderly state, offering to drink any intoxicating liquors in the presence of the people inside. This law doesn't include exceptions for parties or licensed functions. Alcohol consumption while driving. State law prohibits the consumption of alcohol while driving. You can think of this as a narrowly tailored open container law intended to stop drunk driving before it causes a crash. Under this law, a driver can't consume an alcoholic beverage while driving on public roads. The regulation applies regardless of the driver's state of intoxication. This isn't a drunk driving statute, because it applies to all drivers, including those who are stone-cold sober. Thus, you could receive a ticket for alcohol consumption while driving, even if the police officer only saw your first sip of beer of the day. On the other hand, you're allowed to have an open container of alcohol in your vehicle as long as you don't drink from it. This law only applies to drivers while operating vehicles. You can drink an alcoholic beverage in a parked car without violating this law. Driving while intoxicated. Driving while intoxicated, DWI, is a serious offense in Missouri. A person violates this law when they drive a vehicle while under the influence of alcohol or drugs. Missouri allows a DWI arrest for anyone under the influence of drugs or alcohol, regardless of their blood alcohol concentration, BAC. The law mandates additional punishment for a DWI if the driver's BAC is at or over the legal limit of 0.08%. Consequently, you can commit a DWI anytime drugs or alcohol impair your ability to drive. Officers can investigate the reason for the impairment, including asking you to take a breath test. You can be arrested for DWI even if your BAC is below 0.08%. Boating or flying while intoxicated. Missouri also has laws that prohibit operating a boat, BWI, or aircraft while intoxicated. These laws extend to vessel operators, pilots, co-pilots, flight engineers, and flight navigators who attempt to operate watercraft or aircraft while under the influence of drugs or alcohol. Possession and use of a firearm while intoxicated. Missouri's unlawful use of a weapon statute bars anyone from having a firearm or projectile weapon on their person while intoxicated. However, the law requires more than mere possession. The intoxicated individual must also commit one of the following acts to violate the law: handling or using the firearm in a negligent or unlawful manner, discharging the firearm. This law has a notable exception, allowing intoxicated people to use firearms in self-defense. Possession of a firearm by a habitual drug or alcohol user. Missouri's unlawful possession of a firearm law denies certain people, such as convicted felons and fugitives from justice, the right to possess firearms. The law also prohibits habitual drug or alcohol users from owning firearms. The law doesn't define the term habitual. However, other statutes use habitually to describe the regular use of any habit-forming drug. Importantly, this law isn't limited to the public possession of a firearm. It can apply to any possession, regardless of the location. Disturbing the peace. Many intoxication-related arrests fall under the state's law criminalizing peace disturbance. This law forbids knowingly and unreasonably engaging in the following behaviors: making loud noises, addressing offensive language to a specific person face-to-face, threatening to commit a felony against any person, fighting, creating a noxious and offensive odor. The law also prohibits anyone from purposefully causing inconvenience by physically blocking any of the following: vehicle traffic, pedestrian traffic, people entering or exiting a public or private place. Disturbing the peace doesn't require intoxication. As such, this charge can be brought against someone who's mentally ill rather than intoxicated. Defenses to Missouri's intoxication statutes. There may be several possible criminal defense strategies for these charges, depending on your situation. Some common defense strategies include the following: involuntary intoxication. Depending on the situation, you might present a defense of involuntary intoxication. This can happen when someone drugs you without your knowledge. Physical or mental illness. You may have a valid defense if your behavior arose from a physical or mental illness rather than intoxication. For example, suppose that you suffered a concussion that caused you to slur your words and stagger in a courthouse. A skilled Missouri defense attorney could defend you from charges of drunkenness in a courthouse by proving you were unwell rather than drunk. Missing element of the offense. Prosecutors must prove every element of an offense to get a conviction. If any are missing, you can seek a dismissal or acquittal. For example, Missouri's driving while intoxicated law only applies to the driver. Passengers can legally drink alcohol in a moving vehicle. Possible punishments for intoxication-related offenses in Missouri. Since Missouri has no broad public intoxication law, the penalties for intoxication-related offenses vary widely. They may include the following. If you've been charged with resisting arrest, the capable team of criminal defense lawyers at Waterkotte can offer the guidance you need to navigate the legal system. We're committed to handling all cases with the precision and attention to detail they deserve. We offer our clients a number of key benefits, including offense, drunkenness or drinking in a prohibited place, consumption of an alcoholic beverage while driving, peace disturbance, unlawful use of a firearm by an intoxicated person, unlawful possession of a firearm by a habitual alcohol or drug user. Offense level. Class B misdemeanor. Infraction. Class B misdemeanor, first offense. Class A misdemeanor, repeat offense. Class A misdemeanor, unloaded. Class E felony, loaded. Class C felony. Why choose Combs? Waterkotte for your public intoxication defense. The criminal defense attorneys at Waterkotte have over 40 years of combined legal experience in many positions within the criminal justice system. We use our experience as former prosecutors to help clients navigate the complex criminal prosecution process and seek positive outcomes. How we can defend you from intoxication-related charges. First, we'll try to understand your side of the story. Police officers might intentionally or unintentionally misinterpret a situation if they believe you're drunk or high. We'll scrutinize the available dash or body cam footage from your encounter with law enforcement to determine what really happened. Next, we'll negotiate with prosecutors to obtain a positive outcome. One possible option for misdemeanor intoxication-related charges is pretrial diversion, which allows you to go to rehab instead of facing a trial. If you satisfy the required terms, prosecutors will dismiss your charges so they don't appear on your criminal record. Speak with a Missouri public intoxication lawyer today. Missouri police officers have a wide range of charges they can bring against intoxicated people, despite the state's lack of a public intoxication law. Contact Combs, Waterkotte online, or at 314900. Help to learn how we can defend you from these charges to preserve your freedom and reputation.